Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in all the way from Chi-Town, Chicago, we have DiskoKitty on the other end today on the Virtual Sessions. How you doing today, DiskoKitty?
I'm good. How are you?
I should say AKA Margot.
Yes, that's my name.
Awesome. So what's it like out there right now in Chicago? How things going?
Musically,
Musically,
or
yeah. You know?
lots of cool stuff has been happening in Chicago. We have several crews here that work together, and we I'm part of Proper Chicago. And there are several other crews, and we work kind of collectively, like we try not to step on each other's toes. So a lot of events have been happening. We've got Goldie coming in, playing at like good venues too, not just tiny little pubs and bars, kind of. That's kind of what happens with us jungleists. We get pushed to these side venues sometimes. But Chicago is recognizing that drum and bass is a fixture, and it looks like it's happening at least quarterly. If you were to talk in in corporate terms, it's happening every quarter.
Nice. We have here one of the longest drum and bass nights out of Seattle. Has been going on here for years, and obviously over the last couple years, all things stopped happening, kind of. But they've been keeping it alive, going strong here. My good friend of mine, Monty Hathaway and Slant Tooth, run Compound Records. They're all about drum and bass, drum and bass, drum and bass, drum and bass, drum and bass. Love drum and bass. But what got you into the drum and bass genre? Because I was looking over your SoundCloud. You do house music as well, correct?
I'm actually, yeah, I'm an open format
Oh, okay.
DJ. I'm a house DJ because obviously I'm from Chicago. I do play hip hop, funk, and I play open format for a living.
hmm
Like I'm a wedding DJ.
hmm
But what brought me into drum and bass? So I am a true junglist. Back in the 90s. I'm gonna age myself a little bit. You probably can't lucky me, you can't tell, but I'm an old raver. And I did rave in the 90s, and I in college went to raves in St. Louis.
Okay.
And in St. Louis, there was these parties hosted by this really awesome team called Superstars of Love. They were affiliated with those party monsters in New York. It was really cool. I didn't know it at the time. Like, you see the movies, you're like, oh my God, like I know, it was kind of weird. But I was the Superstars of Love were throwing these amazing parties in St. Louis because even though I am from Chicago, I went to college in the southern part of Illinois.
Okay.
So I was at the southern tip of Illinois. So just when raving was like becoming really cool or, known, I was stuck in like shit town, USA. I mean, literally by Tennessee, Missouri, it's the tip of Illinois. So there's nothing there. So we would go to St. Louis to these Superstars of Love's party. I had some friends that were affiliated there with them because of someone else going to college that knew some people there. So we would go there and go to these raves. And that's when raves were like everything right now is very festival oriented.
hmm
I know there's raves. I've been to them. They don't I'm not trying to be like a boomer or anything, but like they don't resemble what we saw, what
No.
we participated in. They don't. And as much as they try to emulate it, it's not. So we, would go to these magical lands, and I heard this music. I called it square music because it felt to me it's 4x4, but it felt to me like it was like a rolling square when I was dancing. I might have been under the influence of something, maybe not, but
Love.
But to me it sounded like square music was rolling, like a square was rolling, and I
Uh-huh.
got really into it, and it was DJ Soul Slinger,
Okay.
Jungle Liquid Sky, name drop. So I had decided at that point already that I wanted to be a DJ. I used my school money to buy my turntables from the local pawn shop that had I have an original technique, like a first edition turns out, because I ended up buying those record players from my college town because they used them for their clubs. So we bought tables. We ordered a mixer, and I would go to St. Louis and buy records. And so I bought some drum and bass records, and that's where first really became a junglist.
The first record you ever bought, is it worth mentioning or is it embarrassing?
Hold on, it's right there. Hold up. Let's see if you can see it. Hold on, I'll
No
try and show
way.
you. It's reflecting.
I see it. I see
There
it.
it is. There you go.
Abducted?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
That's my
Nice. Well,
first, and that's my first drum and bass record. My
mhm.
first record ever in my life is For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton. It's a 45. I bought it
Okay.
at a thrift store. No, at a garage sale. It's not even a really great song. I don't know why I
You
bought
know,
it.
I mean, I often go in and like you said earlier, and as you started there, I date myself. I started raving in the '90s as well. '92 was when I first started going to nightclubs. When I say underground nightclubs, electronic music nightclubs, I was going to nightclubs before that, but it was more top 40,
Yeah.
hip hop, things of that nature, what was popular at the time. And so, '92, I went to my first rave called Green X and Ham.
Oh,
And
cute.
yeah, it blew my mind. And at that time, you're right, the culture was much different than what a rave culture is now, or what festival culture is now.
And not
Um,
knocking it, it's just
no,
different.
it's just different. I mean, but it was a place where you kind of had, and I'll use these terms out of the '80s, '90s. You had the jocks, the geeks, the dorks, the goths, the ravers, the
Nailed
dancers,
it.
the house heads, the junglists. Everyone was all hanging out together, and everyone was cool with each other.
Yes.
I mean, there was no stigma or I'm better than thou, or it was a very pure feeling that I felt at that time,
Innocent
for
too.
many years, very innocent. And then I started getting into clubbing a little bit more later on. But those are some awesome times in those '90s, and it takes me back. And that was when you mentioned Party Monster. You dress up and you go get that special blue outfit where you have the blue jacket and the blue shirt and the blue socks and the blue shoes and the blue sunglasses, and everything's blue because I'm blue today. And then the next one you're all red. You're dressing up in all this gear, and it was just every week you'd go out shopping for that next piece of what I would call candy
Flair.
gear back then,
Yeah.
that flair that you could wear um, there. But
Wings.
yeah, speaking of clothing and merchandise, I saw that you recently got yourself a pretty awesome Christmas present that's on its way. Did it already arrive, or is it
Oh
just
no.
hasn't arrived yet?
So I totally wanted to sport this at this Christmas party that I'm about to.
Hmm.
My baby hairs are going crazy right now. Um, I wanted to sport this at this Christmas party that I'm going to go to, but it's not going to be ready till mid January. But yes, I bought myself my first like real like logo jacket. It's like the pink ladies from Greece. My friend was like, "Hey, you need to get a satin jacket." And I was like, yes, I do." So she's like, you can like go to like Etsy or something and get someone to like make you a jacket. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll do like, I thought about ideas. I'm like, oh, I'll do DiskoKitty in cursive or stuff, something like that. And then, it really wouldn't show up anyways. So it is on my Facebook page, DiskoKitty. But hey Dropamine, how are you? Um, but I'm looking at our chat.
Yeah, no, and girls S4.xyz is already in there too.
Well, hi girls.
That's over from
Um,
YouTube.
um, so it's this. I bought myself a pink satin jacket, and in the back it says "Disco Kitty" with my logo on it. And I've already like put on my car, like my plates are vanity plates. There it says "Disco Kitty," and it's like people are like, "Well, what are you worried if somebody like breaks in your car?" Well, lucky them.
Yeah, merchandise is one of those things that I often talk with DJs about, or at least branding themselves on stage. At least have, if you're gonna have something on your site, there's so many places out there you can set something up for fans to get. Even if you're not actively selling 1,000 t-shirts a month, you can still get a logo, at least get a logo, at
Yeah.
least brand your name and own all your socials. But the
Yeah.
biggest one that I tell a lot of DJs nowadays, because obviously everyone has cell phones, they're always taking pictures of the stage. I said, why don't you just get a shirt and put a QR code on the front of your shirt? That way, when everyone's on stage and they go to take a picture of you, it's going to tab them to go to like your link tree or your
Oh,
website
that's
or whatever
brilliant.
it is. Or you can at least put the QR code on the back of the shirt. And when you turn around during your performance, you could point to the back. Or if you have the LED walls, hey, my name is in the LED,
Oh, that
but
is
then
so
put my
smart.
QR code up there as part of my thing during my shows. We do a thing where we drive around big glass box trucks and put DJs in the back of them.
Oh,
So we're
cool.
always looking at branding opportunities. And when people are driving by and they see our concert grade sound, hear our concert grade sound, so they pull out their phones and they're videoing, they're
Very
taking,
smart.
doing everything about it, and it lets them know where to go. So just one of those branding opportunities. I think that's great. You're making that part of your show. About the events that you do, I saw that you did something with. Let me get your bio here. Is it in your bio? I was curious to know more about
I've done a
this.
lot of
it,
weird.
it was somewhere, and it said there was like 1.1 million people there or something.
Oh, I did the Pride Parade in
Oh,
Chicago.
Pride Parade. Okay, okay, okay. Awesome. In
Yeah.
Chicago?
Yes.
Awesome.
That was cool as hell.
Yeah.
So, I was on top of the Chase Freedom Float. You know,
Okay.
like Chase the bank.
Yeah.
They hire that's the great part about being not only a drum and bass DJ, but an open format DJ. Is that you get hired outside of your genre and then sneak in your favorite, you know, songs. So I got hired by Chase, and I was on top of the Chase float for the Pride Parade several years ago, and there were 1.1 million people there in attendance. And I am not exaggerating. It's in the books, it's in the newspapers, and it is in the pictures. Like it was just it was all I could think of was like Love Parade from Germany and stuff like that
Yep.
because there just like everywhere I looked were seas of people. I felt like fucking Taylor Swift.
Nice. Yeah, we take part in our Pride Parade here in Seattle as well with our mobile studio, and we do silent disco events during some of them. And it is one of the best events that I just love being a part of
What
because
a
there's just
vibe.
so much. Yeah, it's so much of a high. I mean, I don't think we don't get 1.1 million here in Seattle.
Yeah, so
That'd be
yeah, it was a little smaller.
amazing.
Yeah,
But
smaller
we
city.
get I think 250,000 to 300,000 for ours.
It's still
Um,
that's still yeah, I mean,
you
it
know,
was just every like because in a parade, you're going down streets, so you're seeing intersections of streets.
yeah.
So, we would see the intersections of the streets totally packed with people just going all the way back, and then you look at the buildings and all the buildings, everyone was on their balconies and restaurants were packed. I will never forget being a part of that. It was so amazing. And yeah, I brought the sound for our float and created the sound for our float. It was really cool.
And you say that you're drum and bass, you do house, but you're open format. And as a DJ, do you follow the charts, or do you follow like what's hot, or do you follow your heart?
I follow my heart, do not even look. I'll be honest, other than when I'm DJing a wedding, will I look at the charts because I look at the charts for weddings because I'm DJing for certain age groups.
Hmm.
But when I'm when I'm making my own music and DJing my own music, I've never that's an honest to God answer. I have never looked at the charts once. I didn't even, you know what? I didn't even think about it because I'm old school. I play vinyl. I started with vinyl.
Mhm.
Now I use controllers because it's obviously much easier to carry a USB and all that. But I'm a crate digger. So, yeah, you saw I have vinyl. I have it on my freaking wall. So I go by my ear, and yeah, I am of a record pool. So I do have music that is up to date always,
Mhm.
but I still don't go and like see like what songs I got from, what's on not Discogs, what is it? I don't even know the name.
Beatport,
Beatport,
Black
sorry. Yeah.
Source.
I'm a great look at a great DJ here. Doesn't even know the names or where to get the music. Beatport, I don't even look at that. I don't or Spotify, like I won't even look at that. I don't care who's hot. Um, I really just go by musicality.
Hmm.
I really uh not to knock like techno or anything like that, but like I'm not a bleep blop person. So or like neuro, I guess, so like, I like really intricate, lots of drum rolls. I love the amen break. I am an old school junglist. More choppage, the better, believe it or not. But I know that that doesn't get a lot of crowds moving. That's more of a personal preference. I do not play for myself though when I play out, even though I don't look at a chart. So I go through songs and I listen to what I like, and then I put stories together with the titles and the way the sounds go and how the sound effects work, and I make a story for the set. I don't plan out my sets. I'm just like, okay, I got hired or booked or whatever for this event, and this is how I'm feeling. Like if I got it red light district night, you know, I would I would pick songs that would remind me of a red light, sultry, red, something that says red. There's a siren, like whatever comes to your mind when you think of red light district. So it's not just women in windows, sexiness. I will go like really outside the box and be like, think of a siren, think of what's on top of an ambulance. What does a police sound like, So no, no charts for me. I don't, I'm not a, artists that I follow are really because of their true talent and
Hmm.
musicality and yeah, how famous they are because I know, obviously marketing, if it's in your face, in your face, in your face, in your face,
Hmm.
you're gonna look at it. But that doesn't mean I'll play it. I'm not gonna name any names because I don't want to dog anybody or anybody's tastes. But some of your favorite artists are artists that I will never play. You would not even know. Like, oh, it's just like
it's
it's too much for me.
it's funny you mentioned red light district because I was just at ADE a few weeks ago, actually about a month ago now, and was walking around town and kind of found ourselves in the red light district, not knowing where the red light district was. It was interesting. It was during daytime, so it wasn't all like
Not so
it wasn't
sketch.
so well. I didn't say sketch. It just wasn't. It was more of a family vibe, but it was still the red light district. It was interesting, but it was a beautiful city. Just when you mentioned red light district, I thought that was awesome. And speaking of, being out there and being on top, at clubs and other dance events, should people look at DJs like they're the rock stars, or would it be more fun if DJs would be slightly more anonymous and just part of the bigger event? I take this back, going back when I started going to clubs as a kid. The DJ was up in a booth. They were not on the stage. They were off to the side up here, and you might have a window. They could look out on the floor. They could see what was going on, but they weren't on center stage. We were the dancers on stage. We got the stage. We were the performers that got to be up there and be in front of everyone. I kind of got spoiled with that kind of environment early on, that I don't like going to a club if I can't dance up. I can't dance on a packed floor around everyone like this.
Oh my
I
god,
like
we just
to,
experienced that.
yeah, I like to move around a little bit, and I'm not. I mean, I can't if I'm going to club and I'm like this. Just
That's
that's
why
not
we're there. Yeah.
dancing to me. I like to get up on a booth or a pedestal and kind of perform in my
I
other
am
days. But,
I was also into punk rock.
okay,
So, I need to skank.
but yeah. Do you think that I mean has the popularity of the genre pushed too much to the forefront? Now we expect
Yeah.
this stage show or the stage performance as opposed to maybe just a DJ off in the corner spinning the music, and everyone's more. It's more atmosphere than it is. Let's focus and look at the DJ and what the DJ is doing.
I 100% agree. So, I have definitely seen this shift, and, uh, I'm not gonna make an opinion on whether it's a good or a bad thing, but it's just a different experience. And so what I've seen, as we've evolved is like the DJ came and put together a vibe. There's a vibe and
Mhm.
you got to find it. We didn't have phones. I mean, like I took pictures. I am definitely one of those people that brought my camera and took pictures and all that stuff, but like, now everyone's like, you know, how cool, like, see, I'm doing this. We're cool. Here I am, and it's just, I see the videos and it's all lasers and it's just this big, weird, crazy, epileptic, seizure inducing light show with a guy jumping around with a preset. Shh, there's a preset. The lighting guy and the DJ, they already plan it out before you guys get there. Anyways, um, I'm used to I even me would wear a baseball cap low, cover my eyes, grind into the music, look up a couple times, give a few head nods for when there's a good time for a rewind or something. But I do miss those days where like we went there to dance. We went there not to be seen, not for anyone to know we were there. We went there to see our friends and we went there to let it out. To feel like that's why I say I want to skank. If you're not part of the punk rock culture, skanking is when you kind of like skip around in a circle in a mosh pit and beat yourself against other people. I don't really need to beat myself against other people, but I did also enjoy that our culture back then was not very rapey, and, like, I didn't even need to wear a backpack, and I remember when I'm like, "If I gotta go to a club, I gotta wear a backpack so that a guy doesn't dance behind me." If
Hmm.
I went to a rave, I did not need to wear a backpack. I could bring, like, with my bag, or whatever, but,
Hmm.
like, I would go to a rave and know, like, I'm going to dance, and nobody's gonna be grinding any junk on me, girl or guy, because, like, now everyone's shopping for the next kink, and it's weird, kind of. You gotta watch your drinks, watch your drugs, test this and worship the god in front of you, and it's like, you guys, the whole point of like what we did with electronic music was that we got lost in it. And like that's what remixing is, like getting lost into like it's kind of like this like poking on but it's a sound. Like it's almost like something that's nagging you, but it's a good nag. And that's what music it like was for me, at least. Like you find the groove and then you just start dancing and lose yourself to the music, Eminem. But really, like lose yourself, not and I yeah, maybe I was inebriated sometimes, but I find that now it's just like it's seizure inducing and it's packed, everyone wants to be seen, there's phones, it's no one's wearing any clothes, it's weird. It's cool, I'm glad you guys it's having everyone's having a good time. It's just totally like, I just don't get that whole looking at someone who's programming an electrical piece of equipment.
How Do you think there's a way back that we could get back? I mean, you can go hyper underground, you can go local underground, you can do two, three, 400, maybe even 1,000 person events. I don't even know if 1,000 person event might be too much now, but I
That's
mean,
a lot.
you got to be a lot. I mean, I could see a club or an event having 300 people or less, or 400. I think Colette was talking with her, and she's like, I do events where it's like 350. That's
Nice
my max, because you get that real intimate vibe
vibe.
feeling that you're not going to get
Yeah.
at 1,000 person venue. You're not going to be able to connect with the crowd. You're not going to be able to see them. I mean, it doesn't work out like that. So unfortunately, a lot of those smaller venues didn't make it through Pandy. And a lot of them I heard, were getting bought up by like Live Nation, and Insomniac are coming through and picking them up for dirt
Yeah.
cheap now, which is interesting. But, what would be one way of how would you suggest, if there was one way to getting back to that, what would be a suggestion for, I guess, to the promoters out there, or an up and
Oh,
coming
I got it.
promoter? What would that be?
I got it. I first of all, I do think there is a way back because I'm from Chicago. We're the home of jazz and blues, and mostly blues. I'm sorry, not jazz. Jazz is down south in Louisiana, but we're the home of blues and house music.
Hmm.
Those are both um, instances of cultures of underground cultures of art, musical art.
Hmm.
And I do believe that and just like punk rock too, that was a subculture. It was underground before everything gets bastardized. Now, I don't know if it's going to need a new genre or not, but I do think that if we wanted to stay within our genre, or at least electronic music, shut the phones off. I think that if we start creating parties where it's a no phone party, like if you get caught with your phone, you're getting kicked out.
Hmm.
Get the fuck out. Like I know it's at first it's going to be jarring and mean and unfair, and I want to but I promise anyone who, like, I'm not throwing events right now. I'm an old lady, I'm a bicentennial child. And so I am not right now in the position where I'm throwing events. Maybe I will again in a year or two, but right now I am not throwing events. But if I were to suggest to anyone right now who wants to be bringing back the vibe, be be first and say no, no more phones. Turn your phone off. If we catch you with your phone, and sign, when you sign to pay for the ticket, I agree, I will not pull my phone out unless I am dying.
Hmm.
I have to call my mother, you know, like go to the bathroom and use your phone. I think if we get rid of the phones, that'll start it.
Hmm.
I also think, like I with these 350-person events, that's not going to happen. But like with those big festivals with the pre-programmed shit, cut that shit out 'em. Tell everybody this is pre-programmed, just like Britney Spears is lip syncing. Janet Jackson is lip syncing. Madonna, they're all singing to their song. Like, at least like be what's the word? Transparent, and say, "Hey, this is a pre-programmed show. We're providing you like a play. This is it's
Yeah.
here, and this is act 1, scene 2, whatever."
Yeah.
And I think that, but number 1, I would, with the smaller events, I'd be like, I mean, not at a bar, you're not gonna that's not gonna happen where you're just hanging out with the homies, but like, yeah, at a 300 plus event,
Hmm.
I would say no phones. This is a non no like a wedding, because I DJ weddings.
Hmm.
This is a no phone event. We have professional photographers here. Please go to our website if you want to see a photograph. There's a stand. You can go stand and go take your picture if you really want to have a photograph with some people you've
Hmm.
met. Connect on there. The dance floor, we're here to provide you a vibe. Um, I went to a party that didn't have to do that.
Mhm.
It was right before COVID, and it was Louis Vega.
Mm.
He's a house DJ.
Mhm.
The music was so incredible, and the party was intimate enough, about 350 to under 500 for sure. The vibe was so intense because the music was so damn good and it was just dark in there.
Mhm.
There was no spotlight on the DJ. We all knew it was Louis Vega. I was definitely one of those hoes that sat in VIP dancing right next to him all night long, but only to watch the master at work. I was I was going to church
Mhm.
and I got the house shakes, like I couldn't control myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you bring that up about the phone thing. There's been some promoters here in Seattle. I know it's happened in other cities where they do it was called no signal, I believe, and you had to check your phone into the door. Now you have comedians like Dave Chappelle. You go and you have to lock your phone into a bag, and
Yes.
if that bag, it's like, and I think you get to carry that bag around with you, but it's a pretty sealed like type of airtight bag. But they were also working on technology with Apple was introducing it where they put an infrared sensor in the phone and you put infrared beacons on the front of the stage. It'd shoot out a signal. And if you went to go try to capture the stage performance, it'd say, sorry, recording's not allowed
Can't
right now.
do, yeah.
I don't know what would happen if you turned it to yourself, but if you tried to turn it and went selfie to the stage or go like this to the crowd, it wouldn't record, it wouldn't take a picture. And, I think you mentioned Taylor Swift earlier. I think she did something for her shows. I remember back in the day, I went to a Prince concert, and it's like you're not allowed to bring any recording devices, and you're not allowed to bring any cameras in. But that was 95, I think, 96, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
remember we couldn't
Or
do that.
you couldn't bring cameras and phones into places, and
We didn't
so
want the random flashes.
exactly. So very interesting you bring that up. Speaking of phones and devices, I know you have a Twitch channel, but have you ever experimented with mixing audio and video at the same time? And if not, would that be something you'd look to do in the future?
I actually started thinking about that just the other day. That's funny that you brought that up. I have
Mhm.
not done it. Yeah. I mean, because I do live stream on Twitch.
Mhm.
I used to a lot. I'm going through some personal stuff in my life, so I had to cut that down. But what I had was going on was like, trying to figure out green screen and all that stuff. But with the Serato capabilities, they allow you to mix with video. So I've always wanted to mix with video. I just don't know the tech on it. Um, to be honest, I've always collected images and GIFs and even this background, like stuff like this, just loops of stuff. And I've always wanted to do audio visual art. And so, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm glad that you asked that because it's totally
Mhm.
something I'd be totally down for. It's just another thing on my list that I need to learn how to do and get going on.
What about virtual reality? Have you asked to perform in any virtual reality nightclubs, or have you looked into VR or the metaverse yet?
I have not, I get extremely car sick
Yeah.
and I get sick at the IMAX too, so, like, I have not delved into virtual reality because when I participate in it, it makes me queasy.
Hmm.
But I doesn't mean that I wouldn't perform in a situation where people could take that would be cool as hell, man. It's just like kinda like Twitch, I guess, just like you're performing and everyone else is
Hmm.
somewhere else. Um, my only thing is, like, have you ever seen Black Mirror? So, even in my, like, baby days when I was a college student, I wrote a paper when the internet was becoming popular and people started emailing and stuff like that, and I was concerned that, like, we would get too, separated and compartmentalized and alone,
Hmm.
and not be interacting, and that might not be good for us. So I'm still on the fence because, like, during COVID, I have a child. The only way that he could like talk to his buddies was he put his headset on when he was playing video games, and he got to talk to kids to all over the world. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like he's we're stuck in this house, but he can still communicate with other people. So there he is interacting with someone, but is he looking at visual cues, emotion and stuff like that. So I'm on the fence with that kind of stuff.
We'll have to invite you by, and I'll have to give you a tour of our VR nightclubs. They're
I know, I'd
soft
like to.
launched right now, but we're getting ready. I just met with my developer, one of my developers today, to finish hanging all the artwork on the walls, and then we have to build all the links in. But we're getting ready to grand open them here shortly. I'd love to invite you by and give you a tour. It's a
Love to.
definitely. I look at like you mentioned the internet in the early days. What it was like, and then websites came out and businesses, a lot of businesses, I don't need a website. I'm a brick and mortar. I got my customers that come in. I'll never need something online. And then later on, it became social media. And, I've always tried to be on the forefront of these newer technologies. And we definitely see virtual reality as being one of those places where you can grow your brand, a whole brand new set of followers that are going and experiencing something for literally almost the first time in a very plausible way. I mean, it's not stick your phone into a $5 thing and you're kind of doing it. It's Meta's investing billions of dollars. This we know Microsoft is, Sony is, Google is. These companies are investing because metaverse is going to become that new thing. It won't be a 2D environment like this anymore. You and I could have this interview in the metaverse in our nightclub on the stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people.
Yeah.
And people are there and they could ask questions. They can be part of it, but they could also tour around and be and interact with people next to them instead of just in a chat room in a 2D.
Yeah, that is very, very
You know,
difficult. And it's really
yeah,
weird when you're on Twitch and it's
mm-hmm,
like you're the only one talking, but everyone's typing and you're like,
yeah,
should I type, talk?
yeah,
Like, am I talking too much? I would love
yeah,
to. And I did get very used to talking to people while I was DJing.
mm-hmm.
And then when COVID was over, because there was a lot of live streaming during COVID.
Yeah, I
And then
know.
when I started doing real life gigs again, it was weird that like nobody was talking to me again during DJ while I was DJing, because I was like, I wanted to get on mic and be like, hey, how's everybody? How are you guys doing? And I'm like, wait, whoa, what am I doing? Like these are junglers. They'll laugh me off the stage. Start talking to them.
Speaking of live streaming shows, and yeah, they haven't. I mean, well, 2.5 years ago, I would have conversations with people. We had been doing our show already for 10 years. And I'd say, oh, we're a live streaming DJ show and we're on Twitch. And people would say to me, who would want to watch a DJ online? And second, they'd follow up and go, well, what's Twitch? And I'd say, well, have you ever listened to the radio before? Have you ever listened to, that's a live show that's over the radio, that there's a disc jockey playing songs, even though they're pre-programmed into a computer nowadays. And but there are some DJs, shows that are still live DJ
Yeah.
shows. I go, it's the same thing, only with video. And they go, oh, okay. But what's Twitch? And I go, well, okay, let me explain to you. You know that company called, that thing called YouTube that's owned by Google? Well, Twitch is basically run by Amazon. And they go, oh, so it must be a big deal. And it's like, yes. And then come March, April 2020, everybody in the world jumps online. Everybody gets a Twitch channel. And, it
Yeah.
was awesome because that conversation stopped happening, which I thought was really, really
Trying to get better
awesome.
light. Sorry.
Oh, you were great. Your lighting looked great.
It's getting dark. It's starting to get dark in here. The sun is
So,
going
but
down.
but yeah, no, I mean, it was just awesome seeing everyone jump online, and kind of a little vindication on our part as doing the DJ sessions that, here's this meeting we were talking about for 10 years and now people are using it. It's just really, really awesome. I was going to ask you, what are the top 3 podcasts or live stream shows that you listen to? Do you have top three favorites you go to?
Um, there are you would be surprised that they're not drum and bass. Questlove
Questlove.
on Twitch is one of my favorite. 916 Junglist, that is a jungle one.
Okay.
They're all on Twitch is what I'm doing. I don't do the podcast stuff
Mm-hmm.
really. 916 Junglist channel on Twitch is amazing because not only do they promote DJs, but they also have shows on tech and they have talk shows and they talk about what's going on in the streaming verse and like the tech that's involved in trying to stream. What was the third one? You're going to be disappointed in my third one.
Oh,
It's just
well,
a relax lo-fi
is it
channel.
is it the one with the girl who's sitting in the spaceship?
Yep.
I know that one. I know that
Relax.
one very well. That's not. Oh, what's the name of that channel?
I think
I
it's
kind of
relax. I think it's relax beats.
I kind of joke with people from time to time. It's not. I'm only joking. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but I'll say
It is relax.
if you've been streaming for 5 years or longer, and you can't beat numbers of what that channel gets,
Yeah.
then what are you doing with your channel? Are you taking it seriously? Are you promoting it? Are you getting it out there? Or where do you want to be in this live streaming venture? Are you just jumping on a bandwagon and doing it? Or
Yeah.
are you really building a following and really building your brand and doing something? I've kind of said that, and sometimes they have low numbers on that one, sometimes they have higher numbers on that one, but that's a really popular one. I use as kind of a benchmark. Like
I do too.
if I'm not beating that channel, then I'm like, okay, I got to go do some socials during our shows to pump that up and do something to get our numbers higher. I like to place usually in, not the toot a horn, but in the top 10,
Good for you.
is kind of where I like to be. But, even just being in the top 20 when we go live, that can be a huge factor for that a lot of people didn't understand when live streaming too, though, was the time of day that they chose to go live.
Yes. That's
Everyone's
a
like,
good
I'm going to go
call.
live at Friday night at 8 p.m. New York time.
Good luck.
Good luck. Guess who else is going live at all that time? And if you're going live at all those primo times, so people didn't understand that our show would go on at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. As pre-weekend kind of thing. We built our following knowing that we were that midweek, 6 p.m. Pacific time kind of show, which was still 10 p.m. Eastern time,
Yeah.
9 Central
Doable.
and 8 Mountain, and built it up. But like even this show here, we have two completely different times. We go on at 11 a.m. Pacific time and 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is a whole different audience,
Yeah.
and trying to build that brand and not wanting to ruin our numbers on our original channel. I created other channels so I wouldn't tank our other channels with low numbers and stuff. And
I get it. Yeah.
very
Especially because
interesting.
of the Europe. Europe
Yes.
gets really involved. We have
Yep.
being junglists. We work a lot with artists in England.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh yeah, Gouda is another favorite
Good.
channel of mine.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Um,
And speaking of channels, when does your channel air? When does it go live? When do you have your shows?
okay, so I used to have a 420 show on
Mm-hmm.
Wednesdays. I was living in California, so it was from 4 to 6 p.m. I do a several hour block. I had to move back to Chicago. So I am now in the middle of recreating when I'm DJing. But tonight I am DJing at midnight Central Standard Time. And I will be DJing for a couple hours on my Twitch channel. I always try to DJ at least on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, my hours have changed because of my life circumstances changing. I got a job. I have a child. I have to get him from school. We've got things going on. So my schedule has been my Twitch channel, unfortunately, has fallen in the wayside of life. But I'm now, like, I am back in the position of getting things back on schedule. So I'm shopping around right now for times of when I'm going to be DJing again. Um, regularly on my channel.
Mhm.
And I think it is always still going to be Wednesdays. I will be on Wednesdays. I think from now on, Wednesdays will probably be late night so that if my kid is here, he can be asleep and I can put my attention towards it. So for now, we're just gonna say today midnight for a couple
Okay.
hours. I will be on Twitch, but to look for me on Twitch, DJ Disco Kitty.
And we,
Um,
mhm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say when you're not entertaining others, what do you do to entertain yourself?
I am constantly entertaining others. I'm a mom. That is like seriously. It has actually been a long time since I've had time to myself, to be honest.
Mhm.
I have time this weekend to go produce some music. So I'm going to go
Nice.
work with a house music producer this Friday, and we're going to work on a track that I have an idea for, and we're going to work on that and possibly turn it into have a drum and bass version of the song that I'm thinking of, a couple songs that I'm thinking of. So in my free time, what I'm doing to entertain myself, I am a child. I am a Generation Xer. I love television.
Mhm.
So I like to watch a lot of TV.
I'm binging Lucifer right now. I think I binged every single thing that's out there right now. And my girlfriend comes to me and says, "Hey, have you watched Lucifer?" And I said, "I've seen an episode or two of it," and I started watching it, and I like
Oh
it. So I'm
no,
I'm
he
trying to.
took.
I'm only in I'm at the end of season 2 right now, and there's like 6 seasons. So I'm just trying, and she's watched the whole thing. So I'm like, my new binge is Lucifer.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I mean, I'm such a I've been a musician since I was 4 years old.
Hmm.
I'm a piano player. I was taught classical piano starting at 4. So, I mean, really, my free time consists of more music, marketing, branding, music, playing music, listening to music, downloading music, checking out music, making music, finding samples, downloading samples, putting them, organizing my samples. Um, what do I do in my free time? I'm organizing so that I can get to these things.
Nice. And do you have a label in mind that you would be releasing that track to? If you have a, do you look to like, okay, this is, I laser beam approach and say, this is what I wanted to sound like, this is who I wanted to go to, or are you going to shop that track?
I mean, ideally, I would love if Hospital Records signed me one
Hmm.
day. That would be a goal of mine.
Hmm.
Um, but right now, I think that I just have to push out my sound.
Hmm.
I have to regurgitate it. Like I have to get it out. I'm still in that phase, even though I'm an older DJ and an older producer. You know, Regis Philbin, I don't know, like Philbin or whatever, he didn't become famous till he was in his 60s, even though he worked in TV all his life. So I look to him, and there are other like artists that like came up, even Georgia O'Keeffe, the painter, she became famous later in her life. And I'm not trying to say I want to become famous or anything like that, but I do want to be recognized. And like I have this kind of like ego thing where like I need to be infinite. So there will be music out there by Disco Kitty. There is music out there by Disco Kitty that's not on labels that, like I've wrote a couple lo-fis and a couple remixes and stuff of like mashups. They're out there. And I just my goal is to just have songs released and someone find them or be a label go, holy shit, did you see this girl's catalog? It is crazy. Like
Hmm.
we need to push this person. I don't think that's not gonna happen. I
Hmm.
do think that that's still within the realm of my lifetime.
Yeah,
I'm
we're getting also,
healthy
yeah,
enough.
we're getting ready to launch our own label here over at the DJ Sessions. We're really excited about that. We've been talking about it for the past year. We were redoing a whole rebrand, an international rebrand. Just got back from ADE, and lots of contacts, lots of good stuff happening from there. So there's like you said, if you're music. I'm executive producer, so I'm always networking, meeting, interview, back in. That all the magic that happens behind the curtain that nobody ever sees. I'm not a DJ myself, but I do host the show. It's a lot of stuff that goes into the making of everything that happens. Of course, and it's not about becoming popular or famous, but
Yes.
definitely having that mark that you left that said, I felt successful about that, you
Yeah,
know?
like I don't even, it's not like I said, it's not the fame that I want.
Hmm.
It's that I want to leave us I want to leave some music behind
Hmm.
before I leave this earth as me, and people hear it and go, "That's Disco Kitty." Like, I know her sound. I know that, or that touched me. And like I've done that personally to people. So like I've done that. I've done my part in that terms, in those terms. Like I do know that I've touched people's lives personally in different musically and personally.
Hmm.
But I would love, like, as long as the internet or whatever, medium exists for eternity, if God willing, that I one of my songs made it into, like, for instance, Papua New Guinea. I don't know if you know that song by
Hmm.
Future Sounds of London, but
Oh, I probably, yeah, if I heard it, I might know it.
it's high contrast.
Mhm.
It's there's a version of it. It's it's a drum and bass song that I do believe everyone in the world should hear,
Mhm.
because it's so beautifully put together and so, like, it makes your heart swell. And that's kind of like, that's how I want to leave my imprint on this earth, is like making a song that makes people's, like go, oh, like not hurt, but just like, whoa, like,
Mhm.
wow, like, oh, I feel, this is like, I can't not like this, I
Mhm.
don't, I listen to country, but I love this, I know that's a big goal, but if I can like a couple country songs, I'm sure a country person who loves country can love a couple drum and bass songs, or
Absolutely.
whatever that comes out of me, as this starts to happen, because now, as I'm getting my life back on track, um, I am able to now express myself
Hmm.
artistically, and I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. If there's anything you could let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you go, what would that be?
Um, what would I like you guys to know about, regarding me, or just in life?
Whatever you want to share, anything you want to share with our DJ Sessions fans before we let you go.
Nothing comes easy. You've got to put your work into it. You've got to put the work into it. You're not just going to show up one day and things are going to happen, whether it be love, life, or music. It's important that if you really want anyone to recognize something that you're doing, you do have to put the work in it and not just go, I create, like, I can do a great thing. Here it is. It goes for far much more beyond than just making, here, I made this cool thing. You have to learn the art of marketing, promotion. Like, you can be rich and go hire a team to do something like that, but most of us cannot do something like that. So I think everyone should know that, like, you need to be able to be multifaceted if you want to make your mark in
Hmm.
anything you want to do,
Yep.
succeed in anything you want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. Where can people find out more information about you? What's the best places to go to find out more information about you and everything you got going on,
I
Margot?
would say my link tree
Okay.
is the best, and it's DiskoKitty, DiskoKitty, and it has my LinkedIn, my GitHub, my YouTube, my Facebook, my Twitch, my remixes, my TikTok, my Instagram, my SoundCloud, and my Mixcloud. If you want to just hear my mixes, just go to Mixcloud and find DiskoKitty. DiskoKitty, I am, even though there are influencers and maybe even other DJs that try and utilize my name, I am the OG DiskoKitty.
Is that the
I've
right link tree?
uh, let's see. It should. Let's. Do I click it? How do I check?
Oh no, you don't click it. It's
Yeah,
just DiskoKitty.
yeah, that's me at DiskoKitty. That's me, and you can find anything you want about me. I don't hide much. I'm absolutely someone who is very open about my life and about what's going on, and I love to share, and I am not shy or embarrassed about anything because we're all human and shit happens.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the DJ sessions today. It was a pleasure having you. We're going to be following up with you. Of course, I want to give you a tour of those virtual reality nightclubs. I can kind of maybe
Please.
get you in there and show you how to go through them without getting the vertigo. You
No,
know,
I'll just take a Dramamine. It's all good. That's what drugs are for, right?
that
To
is
not
that is.
get sick too.
I was in there playing a video game for 3 hours last night, and yeah,
You're a
even though it's
lucky
a kind of
guy.
static, I still get the motion
I get
sickness of it
Yeah, I
around.
get
But
queasy.
you know, it helps. But thank you again so much for coming on the
Thanks
DJ
for having
sessions. Like I said,
me.
we'll follow up with you in the future, and I want to hear that track when it comes out.
Thank
I'd
you.
love to hear
Nice
more of
meeting
that.
you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Meta, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. We're out there. The DJ Sessions, it's out there. But go to our website, thedjsessions.com, where you can find us, download our mobile app, find out about our VR nightclubs. We can also find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Google Play, and Apple TV. And, you know, again, all that is at our website, thedjsessions.com. That's Margot, aka DiskoKitty, coming to you from Chicago. I'm Darren, coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington for the virtual sessions. And you know what happens on the DJ sessions? The music never stops.